Now if you want to, you got the green light. And if you want to, you got the green light. Man, I'm actually in a good mood today. And there's a lot I did kind of want to talk about, but as anybody been following the channel, I on my other channel I got a podcast. You know what? Let me just say podcast. Slowly but surely, it's building, and Rome wasn't built in a day. So excuse me. Rome wasn't built in a day. So the whatever I get is fine with me. And I've been kind of networking a little bit with other people who are doing their podcasts and all that other stuff, and it's going along fine. I just like I said, the time will come if I keep working on it, and if I keep working on it, it will get better. I feel like I'm seeing improvements every time for like the past 2 months. I've been having good episodes with good episodes and good episodes. Now, with that saying, I still prefer like the face to face with everybody because I feel like it's more of a natural conversation than what it is like us at our homes and we're just like um well, we don't know when someone is talking. That's the one thing about uh when first off, first things first. Let me just say this: Google, like when I was mad that Google Hangouts was no longer doing YouTube Live, I was kind of mad, but at the same time, that might have been a best thing that's ever happened because if it's not for that, I would have never found Jitsi. Jitsi, and this is not, and Jitsi has probably been helping me with the podcast more or less because now I can do it pre-recorded again instead of doing it live. Sometimes I can just pre-record it. Now, don't get me wrong. If I really want to do stuff, I can like edit it, trim some stuff here to make it less awkward. But like I said, these past episodes have been flying by. I've been just putting these episodes and then I just quickly upload them to YouTube. Jitsi has been really helping me out. And like, I'm glad I found Jitsi. I have no complaints on Jitsi later. So Google Hangout fucking discontinuing. That's probably been the best thing that's probably happened to my podcast. Because now, with that being said, I wanted to talk about the Roof George and the other lady that was kidnapped. I didn't talk about that her boyfriend raped her and then like they tried to get on the run, they caught them. I wanted to talk about that, but um I didn't know much about it. But the Ruth George thing, we was going to talk about it. And I wanted to give my personal opinion about it, but I felt like, and this is why y'all saw clips of my podcast on this channel. My man father, I feel like he put it in better words than I did about the whole situation. So that's why you saw those videos. And I'm also trying some. I feel like I should put those clips on there, and hopefully it'll direct people to the podcast if they want to listen to it. That's why it's like I leave it at like 10 minutes and all that other stuff, and then it cuts off and all that other stuff because I don't want to give you the whole thing. I just give you that. I've learned that from podcasts like the Brilliant Idiots and the Joe Budden podcast. Although they give you the whole thing, but like I said, sometimes we talk a lot, and especially since there's a lot of us. So, but at the same time, it's fun. So, what's next? So, what's next on this podcast? Me, and I think it starts with me. It's always got, since it is my podcast, and I've always felt like I have to improve. Just because everybody else. How can I say this? I have to improve just to make the podcast improve. And I have to ask myself, where do I have to improve at? And to me, I already knew the first thing I had, because a lot of people say the structure, sometimes we do talk too long on a subject. And I don't want to, the thing is, I don't want to cut people off. But at the same time, there's a lot of people, there's a couple of them, and I'm not going to say no names because it's not really a bad thing. I feel like a lot of them, they say stuff and then they don't know when it finished. So they'll have this pause like they're finished, and then you want to jump in, and then they'll talk again. So, but like I said, a lot of them, I don't think they understand how that's done. So that's why I try not to repeat myself over and over again, and that's what this channel was for. The second thing, me moderating, because I do moderate. I'm the one that comes with the list of the topics to talk about. Do they come in and ask what are we going to talk about? Yes. And do they give me suggestions and I take them? Yes, I do. Because sometimes I don't know everything in this world, and sometimes I just, me as a moderator, if you want to talk about this, I always told them, if you want to talk about this, we could talk about it. Just let me know. Just let me know ahead so I can try to be informed. Now, the problem where there's this is me. I set up the questions terribly. I've always been saying that because like the way I write the notes is like, um, okay, like this week we're going to be talking about Lonnie Love, right? So, um, use the outright the real Lonnie Love Black Twitter, something like that. And when I go to, I'm like, oh, so there's this thing with Lonnie Love, uh, and I'm like stumbling over my words because it's coming off the top of the head sometimes, and I'm thinking to myself, I should probably write this down like other moderators do. See, I'm looking for like I'm listening to the Jalen Jacoby's, and because even though Jalen like the Jalen Jacoby show, like Jacoby, he sets it up, and even Joe Budden on State of Hip Hop, they have these cards where they read from, and they set up the questions, and it's very thorough. Even the part of the interruption, like before they get into their conversation, they had this little soliloquy. I would call it soliloquy, but they set up the questions where you know what's going on, and then you give the question, and then everybody answers the questions. So I need to start doing that. So with this podcast, and I told him I'm trying something new, and that is I'm gonna write down the questions. That way I can set it up for him to answer. And this is and nobody had to tell me this. I'm looking at this myself. It's like this things that we're getting better. We're getting better. It's like the product is getting more and more and more. Now the other thing is audio, background audio. Now this is now me. When I do my podcast, I'm obviously in a room where it's quiet and no space around. But even when I'm in a space with no place around, it's still omnidirect. The mic I got is omnidirectional, so it'll pick up from everywhere. I will mute myself sometimes. So, but other people they kind of like not mute. So sometimes they'll pick up their background sounds and all that other stuff. Like, 2 weeks ago, my man was washing dishes, and he didn't know that shit was picking up the sound, so I had to mute him, or Philip had to mute him, just so we could get to because it's very distracting, especially like when you have an opinion and all that other stuff. It's like, what is that noise in the background? And I have to tell, y'all gotta go somewhere. And I let them know it's like, it picks up a lot, so you gotta go somewhere quiet where you know maintain radio silence. Basically, you learn that. You learn that in the Navy. So those are two things. Now the audio thing, I can just that's the easy fix. Just go somewhere where you know that no one is going to. How can I say this? Just be where no one's going to bother you, and know that it's a quiet space that no one's gonna bug you. But the moderating thing, that's the other thing. That's just me personally. So right now, as I'm coming up with these topics, I gotta find a way to set these up. So I'm going to now I'm probably gonna ask my homegirl Selena, that's a writer. I know she don't fucking listen. I know she don't listen to my podcast, but at the same time, she's obviously a writer. So I'm probably gonna ask her how should I set this up so I can moderate right. But I think I have a good idea because I do write myself. So with that being said, the podcast is going good, and I can see myself doing better with it, and that's where I want to. Now, also the thing is, and I know the last thing is get more women represented. And here's the thing: I've tried. I know a lot of people that say you need a female's opinion on here or something. Yes, I do. A woman's opinion is always needed. I've tried to bring women on here. I've even bring women on here that don't have the same ideals with me on it. Sometimes they have, but sometimes some women do. But they don't last. They just don't last. Now the thing is, they have lives, and I'm not. I don't, force anybody to jump on here. Like the last girl, Cosmos Jones, she's probably going to, like, I don't know if she's going through some real life shit. I do. She probably is, but I'm not sure. But if she doesn't come on, like the time she came on the show, she did good. Now the times where she's not on the show, it's fine too. But I'm not gonna put her. I'm not gonna like chastise her about it. It's just some people just don't make the show. I feel like there's gonna be a time where like I'm gonna do the show and it's just me, and I have to be, and I really gotta be prepared about that. it might be, it might be this, but just on a podcast, maybe longer, like a Bill Burr or some shit like that. So I gotta be ready for that, and it was probably just gonna be me giving my opinions and shit. So there you have it. Also, I've been noticing. I've been trying to keep my shit under 10 minutes, but I've been looking at other videos. This is like 10, 15 minutes, and I just don't want to lag on. So I'm gonna still try to keep it under 10 minutes, but sometimes I'll make sure I keep it like under 20 minutes, unless it really, really gets in. So with that, I'm into this. The moral of the story is, and this is probably for me more so than anybody else is watching this. You're doing good. So I'm talking to myself. You're doing good on the podcast. You know what you need to improve on. You just got to improve on it. Now, the more you keep improving on the podcast, the more people would probably take your craft. That's how you get dedicated to your craft. You keep improving on that shit, and then more people will come. You know what they say. If you build it, they will come. So good job. You've been killing it these past episodes. We just got to take it to the next step. And that's what we're here for. Now, that's going to be the end of this. And let me go work on some of these because I have some good topics. And I feel like a lot of people, and the topics I have been bringing up, a lot of people has been in it. Rest in peace to Ruth George. You shouldn't have gone out the way you should have. And I might actually talk about that because, even though I said father, I still want to give my opinion on this channel somewhat. So I probably will talk about it. Maybe now this few days has passed, it's probably more clean. It's probably more cleaned up than usual. So now I'm back. Now I'm rambling on. Till then, my name is Oskina Fly and I'm out. Peace.